Hi, Dyslexic Genius here. I'm back on the Cheney motor, and the customer had really sent it to a phonograph restorer who doesn't really do good work. And it came back like this and wasn't running, it was dirty, the gears were dirty. And the one thing about it is, if my angel can show you up here, we have a brass bushing in here for the pinion of this gear. We're gonna have to make a new one. And you see how that moves, wiggles? So that means this gear is wiggling on this gear here. But on these phonographs, this screw comes out lefty-lefty, okay? Now you have to realize the other screw is gonna come out righty-righty. It's gonna be a left-hand thread, so it's gonna come out the opposite direction. And these come in, I'll pull this one out, but I gotta put it back in. This is a special little screw. This is like a 1/4 28 thread. I already measured it. And it runs right here on this bearing in here. So they take this and you oil everything up, because to get everything apart becomes complicated. So what I had, the problem was, I can understand why nobody could get it apart, was that this screw now undoes counterclockwise. It's going to unscrew
Toward the right.
toward the right like
So
this.
clockwise.
Yeah, but what happened was this was locked in place. So how do I get this apart? Because when I turn it, this is going to turn too. You see how it's turning.
And what did you try to do?
I
to
tried,
get that?
first I tried mouse milk, but the first thing I had to do was, how do I stop this gear from moving to get this screw out? Because when I do this, this all turns. Well, first I thought, in here, I could probably block between the casting with a wooden shim. And I tried that for a long time, and that wasn't working. So then I said to myself, okay, I use heat. So I heated it up a little, because sometimes these things just lock down and the oil hardens up around them and it's like concrete and it'll pop out. And then I went, okay, how are we gonna get this thing apart if this keeps spinning? So what I did was, I measured this hole, which was like 1/2 inch, and I machined a piece of steel. So you could put a piece of wooden rod or anything else in here. And I got in here and I got my big screwdriver and I beat on it and I went, this isn't working. So what I got was a screwdriver extractor tool. I had to go to Harbor Freight, and Cheryl loves going to Harbor Freight.
I like Harbor Freight.
And lo and behold, we went to the Goodwill next door and we found a bunch of nice 78s. And on Tuesdays, it was half off.
Senior citizens.
Senior citizen thing. So I took this and I locked this down. And these tools, this red piece here pivots a little. It has a tension. So you're beating down on this and this is moving like this. It gives it tension, then it'll break loose. But that way you can hold the flat edge into here. So what I did first was I beat this way to tighten it. Then I went here, and you can see how this turns, and now it locks against the casting. It doesn't hurt the gear. Now we can take this out.
And you got it to finally break loose.
I finally got it to break loose. So then, what do? We have to know where everything goes on these things because they're unique. So what we're going to do is we're just going to put a little center punch mark here. I know that gear goes there. And now we're going to flip it over because I know this goes here. And I'm going to center punch this one like that.
And why are you doing that?
So I know what way the barrel goes in. So when I'm looking at it, I know that the center punch part of this barrel goes this way, and this gear has a little mark, and we have this screw, and this is where the spindle shaft comes out of. So now I know where everything is. So all you need to do is unscrew this screw. And we know that the cruddy end is there. Then we come over, and we know the shiny one goes on the bottom. And then when we take this all apart, and out slides your spring barrel, just like that. And that's how you get a spring barrel out. But you really have to pay attention of the left and right hand sides. And you can see now why I center punched. This one's different than this one. You got to realize, you got to look at everything closely. So now we can get the spring barrel apart. And it pops off. You see it has a square end to drive it. Well, now we can take everything apart, clean the springs, pack them, check them, see if they're not broken. In the next video, I'll show you how to get this out. This one has a set screw right here.
How will you get that out?
I'm going to undo this and see if it pops up, and we can work on that. That'll be the next video. These motors are kind of like a puzzle. You have to put one thing in to get the other thingy in. It's a lot of fun, and that's my tip for the day.